Well, hey there, guys. We're going to do something different this week. and I was out here today turning over my compost pile and walked through my garden. And I noticed on all these new beans coming up, I've had a crows or somebody just came in and started helping themselves out to the little kernels of beans that's stuck on the new growth that's coming up. So I think it's time I make a call on that little old scarecrow I use every year, and let's see what we can get done out here and put him to work. Trying to put together some kind of video for this today. First thing I got to do has been gathering up all the stuff, and that's interesting until you get to a point, and then it gets to be frustrating because you think you got everything you need and you don't, and then you got to go chase it down. But anyway, I've changed my plan a little bit, but I'm going to dry this metal post I've got in the ground. I use it every year to hang my scarecrow on, but this year he's going to be part of it. This is going to pretty much be the support structure for the body. So right now, I'm just going to take a minute and dry this in the ground. And while I do that, think about this. Scarecrows have been around way longer than I ever thought they were. But the ancient Egyptians used scarecrows to keep the birds out of their crops. And I just figured out in the desert and the Sahara and all that stuff, they didn't have crops, but I guess they did. So that's kind of a comical thing. But yeah, so that was interesting to find that out. But anyway, hang on a minute. Now this becomes how tall do you want him? That right there is about, what, 5'8"? I guess I'm 6 foot, so about 5'8" for this part of it. And be back in a minute as we start putting some other pieces in here. Now we got the post driven in the ground. The next step is putting the arms on it. I mean, basically we're just building the framework for it. Got a 4-foot piece of wood, and I drilled a hole through my pipe here. And let's see if we can't get this thing good and tight. So maybe it'll stay put. And while I do this, did you talk about the old history of these things? The Greeks used these scarecrows out in their fields as well, like everybody else, but they made them to represent their fertility god, because they was big on worshiping all kind of gods. And they put them out there in the field and noticed how they kept the birds away. So that became, hey, all right, we'll use these things to keep the birds out of the garden. That's how that came about. But anyway, Europeans adapted that, and it didn't take long till they started doing that and dressing them up, because they had kids that they would hire for money to go out into their garden and keep the animals and the birds scared away. Well, they finally figured out, hey, there's an easier, cheaper way to do this. So they started making the scarecrows to look like the kids and dress them up in the kids' clothes. And that just kind of migrated from there and followed us over to America. And we brought it with us to discover that the Native Americans had already been using it over here to some degree. Not as quite as elaborate as that, is dress them up like kids, but they did do things out in the garden, putting up bandanas, putting up ribbons, that types of things to keep the birds away. So it's a good, interesting thing to look at it. And now, traditionally in America, these are usually built mostly in the fall for fall festivals and things of that nature. But us old farmers and gardeners like to use them out here in the springtime. And I've used this for years, and I'll show you a couple of them that I did. And this is what I'm coming up with here. Take a look at the old boy. See that? All right. New guy in town. Let's see what happens. We'll start out by mounting the head on this post. And I left a hole back here. And I believe that right there should do it. How's that? Does he look like me? I don't know. But anyway, this is a start. This will be all down in inside his shirt, which comes next. But for today, I just had an old t-shirt. And I used that for the head, and I stuffed it with some old stuffing, quilt stuffing that the wife had in her craft room. So we stuffed the t-shirt. I took her ink art drawing pens and drew the face on it. The mustache is some pipe cleaners. So when I get it all set up, we'll give you a good look at it and see what we got going on. But for today, or for now, that's getting the head put on. So next thing we got to do is get some stuffing and make him a fat old boy, kind of like me, and see what we get from there. All righty. As you start to build this thing, you got to build it from the bottom up. So you got to get the pants put on first, which I've already done. I've got the legs stuffed with straw. So now I've slid it over here and just kind of let it hang down in place. The next thing I'll do is get his shirt and get that put on. And as I put it on here, we'll tuck it in and start stuffing it in from the top and finish stuffing in the pants as well. So just hang in there for a minute while I play with this stuff, and let's see what happens. Yeah, all righty. There you go. That's the shirt and the pants, and we'll begin to stuffing it all down in there and try to get some kind of look to this thing that might make some sense to somebody, maybe especially to the birds. So for now, I'm not going to take the suspenders up. We'll just leave them hooked right here. They are adjustable, so that's the good news. And we'll go from there as we get the pants filled up. And I got a cart full of hay over here, so I'm gonna have to bring that around, and I'll come back to you. So all right, we're getting the fattening him up and getting this straw put down in there. Try to neaten him up. All right, buddy. Okay, this is where we are right now. Try to get it looking like me. as a comparison of some size. So anyway, that's gonna get this part of it. I got the pants done. Put twist ties at the bottom of the pants legs to keep it from falling on out the bottom. Stuffed them all the way up. Got these up. I may do a twist tie here on the end. I'm not sure yet. Or I may just leave these hanging like this to flap in the breeze to help move around, so have some movement out here. The next thing and final thing is putting this head on there. Here's my new hired hand for this year. This is Tex. And Tex migrated in here from the Morgan Ranch over close to Dallas. And he came highly recommended as a good farm hand. So this is Tex, and I'm mighty proud to have him around here. I expect a lot out of him. Now I tell you, I mentioned earlier in the video, I had some old pictures of some old scarecrows I had worked with in the past. Let me show you a couple of those, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about and what kind of characters come through here. Back in 2007, I hired a character called the Red-Headed Stranger. Now he worked hard and he did a great job for me, but after that season he never came back. Along about 2013, this guy showed up looking for a job. I called him a beach bum. He was flighty at best. His neighbor's cows got out one time and ate all my corn while he was here, so I had to fire him. And then in 2021, this guy showed up and I called him a drifter. Easy come, easy go, and he wouldn't work much, but he loved hanging around the flowers and doing some nude sunbathing once in a while. Then in 2023, Red showed up, worked hard all the time, and he loved what he did, and he took pride in his garden and took pride in doing the good work around the place for me. So I hired him to come back in 2024. He was older, a lot older, seemed 20 years older. I don't know what happened to him during the off season, but after this season was over, he never came back. And after all that, I'm looking forward to working with Tex. Tex is going to be a good addition to the place, and I'm expecting some big things. And you'll see more of Tex as we go through the gardening season, and he's keeping these birds out of here. So it's been a tough afternoon getting Tex all gathered up and installed and getting him settled in. And right now, he and I are going out to the porch swing, and we're going to sit down and strategize about what we're going to do this year out here in this garden and how we're going to get things took care of. Good to have you on board, buddy.